Before we had humor, before humor even existed, and humor's been around for a very long time. Humor has been around longer than the spoken word. Before we had humor, we had laughter. We had laughter not from humor, we had laughter from tickling, right? We had, physical contact, right? Fingers touch nerve, right? And we had laughter that way. And then we had humor, we had tickling that didn't quite happen, right? Someone lunged, was going to make a tickle. We predicted a tickle would be there. We predicted it would happen, but it didn't happen, but we still laughed. Now you have something different. You have laughter without physical cause and effect. That's a fascinating step. The next step, we figure out, wait a second, if I do the thing that's like the thing that's touching, but I don't do the touching, I can make them laugh. Right? So then you have us consciously controlling something that makes us laugh, right? Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. These short, sharp movements, right? These breaks in the pattern of what's normal, right? These would have been literally the first jokes, so to speak. These are the first things that would have made us laugh without us actually having physically been touched and prodded and poked, right? Now, what's interesting is that when you do laugh, what happens? You have all kinds of positive things that go on, as many of you, I'm sure, are well aware. There are neurological things and neurochemical things, right? You have the release of endorphins, and you have, which are natural opioids. You have the mirror neurons are kicked into effect. Mirror neurons are when you experience exactly what the other person is experiencing, right? So if someone moves their arm in a certain way, the same neurons fire off in your head that they have to fire off in order to move their arm, right? It's the same thing with humor. With humor, you experience exactly the same neurons fire off when you witness someone laughing as when you actually laugh yourself, right? So it's like empathy in a bottle. Yay! So, fabulous stuff. So you have this wonderful thing. When you laugh, you want more of it. We love laughter. We want it. It's virtually addictive. The same parts of your brain fire off when you experience laughter as fire off when you take cocaine, right? Same thing. We're just, I want another, I want another, I want another. And when I'm doing comedy shows, that's what I have. I have groups of people in front of me going, can I laugh again? Can I laugh again? Can I laugh again? Right? They pay money to be in a dark room with strangers to share in a convulsion. Right? They want it, they want it, they want it, they want it, right? So you have this wonderful thing where all of a sudden, what's happening is you have these breaks in patterns, right? At first, it was just breaks in the patterns of movement that reminded us of things that made us laugh, right? Tick, 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 tick. Gradually, there are things that reminded us of those movements, and things that reminded us of those movements, and things that reminded us of those movements. It's a chain, right? Things that break patterns that remind us of something that's funny, right? So you have a break in a pattern. And eventually, this turned into not only just the breaks and patterns in movement, but the breaks and patterns in sound, right? We would have had the breaks and patterns in sound. And why would we have these? Because we have a reward system that makes us want to look for them, right? It's like when you have the laughter and you share the laughter and you experience sharing that laughter, the actual physiological, psychological, neurological state you're in makes you want more. So you're looking for them, you're hunting them for them. And on top of this, we also have the social benefits from it, right? When you're sharing in humor, when you're sharing and entertaining people, and you're sharing and making people happy, that's going to make you popular. All of a sudden, you're a little bit more popular. You're a slightly different caveman all of a sudden, or cavewoman, or whoever you are, right? So we would have been searching for new things and different things because that's what we like, the breaks and the patterns. And if you think about a lot of what humor is it is that break in the pattern. That's what Judy was talking about. 1, 2, 3, right? You have the 1 and the 2, and then you have the 3, right? And it breaks the pattern. It's all about this breaking of patterns. And so this is a long time back in our history, and it made us crave, psychologically, neurologically, made us crave breaks and patterns, things that are new and things that are different, right? We crave novelty as a species. We're the only species that does crave novelty, right? If you show your cat something surprising, new, and different, chances are good they're not going to be too keen on it, you know? That's an animal's instinct. If they see a short, sharp break in a pattern and it's something they haven't experienced before, their attitude is, run! So, us, it's like, right? There have to be humorous associations with it. But at the same time, it's this idea that it opened up this bottle of human curiosity. It created this fundamental aspect of who human beings are, of what made us up, made us want to know, made us want to know, made us want to know. Because it's dividing the mind up into what's normal and what's not normal. What's the pattern we expect? And what's that break in that pattern? So if you've got a system that finds breaks in patterns, by default, you have a pattern recognition system. So instead of just recognizing breaks in patterns, we're now recognizing patterns. We're learning, okay? So humor, fundamentally at its root, is pedagogical. It's something that educates us. It is that creativity. It is that desire to seek out, to turn, to twist, to learn, to figure things out. When you're trying to find the funny side of something, right? Because everything has a funny side to it. As George Carlin said, context, it's context, right? You find the context. It's a process of examination. You're looking, you're finding out, where is it, what is it, what is it, what is it? You're looking, you're learning, you're finding out. Eventually we did this with sound. We would have breaks in sounds, you know? Someone would have figured out a new sound, right? All of a sudden they get a new sound. We have comedy, and we have exploration into sound. And eventually, we're going to end up with meaning attached to that sound. If you have an object and you start doing comedy with it, all of a sudden, you relate that object not just to what the object is, you relate it to whatever comedy thing was going on. And wherever that comedy thing came from, and whatever other comedy things are being done with it, it's being reframed. You're giving the object meaning, right? And that's what humor does. We give things new meanings. We give things new context. We learn and we grow. That's the root of what humor was. And eventually we had enough ideas and meanings and contexts and sounds and the organization of information in our head, and we were able to put together language. And we ended up with language. We played with sound, we were curious, we wanted to play with more sound, we ended up with music. You want to play with movement, you're going to end up with dance. Humor did an incredible number of things. It helped to create music, it helped to create dance, it helped to create the way we think, it helped to create the way we learn, and it helped our desire to just be creative and to be explorers, to find out what's there. As soon as we had it, you look back at the Neanderthals, they would have had it too. Right? At that point in time, you're looking at about 800,000 years ago. The Neanderthals appeared roughly 600,000 years ago. I won't get into too much detail with this stuff, but they didn't just wander in search of food. They went all over the place. They went north, south, east, west, figured out how to cross water, did all kinds of different things. They weren't hunting only for food. They were hunting for experiences. And that's what you have to do when you're looking for comedy, okay?